Number 6. Armies on amphetamines and meth.
Forget the pills, gentlemen.
Total war breeds terrible calculus. In World War II and after, several militaries issued stimulant tablets, amphetamines, or in some cases methamphetamine, to keep pilots and troops awake through brutal operations. The logic? Alertness now, victory sooner. The hidden line item? Rebound crashes, dependency risk, jittery judgment at 500 knots. Reports ranged from mission accomplished to why did that decision have jazz hands? Command culture, enamored with tools that promise hours on credit, learn slowly that the bill comes due with foggy thinking and frayed nerves. Over time, rules tightened. Medical oversight expanded. The simplistic pep pill mindset gave way to balanced crew rest and risk management. Turns out the human brain resents being treated like a lantern with infinite oil. History keeps this chapter as a warning. Tactical boosts can become strategic liabilities if physiology isn't in the loop. The soldiers weren't villains. They were tired. The systems were too, and reaching for any lever within arm's length. The best lever remains sleep, which is inconveniently not a tablet, unless you count a pillow. Number 7. MKUltra, when research forgot consent. Cold War paranoia plus psychedelic curiosity produced a program whose vibes were ethically subterranean. Agencies feared enemy mind control and funded experiments on psychoactives, including LSD, sometimes with poor or absent informed consent. Safe houses mixed observation with subterfuge. Documentation was spotty by design. Within that fog, lines blurred between studying effects and simply causing them. The scandal's core isn't the molecules. It's the disregard for human autonomy. Public revelations later ignited investigations, new rules, and a cultural recoil that put consent forms and oversight boards front and center. Team bonding should be trust falls, not mystery punch. The complicated part? Some volunteers did consent, others didn't. A single program held both data and damage. The takeaway for modern science is boring and beautiful. Protocols, transparency, and the humility to stop when the ethics meter screams. Because progress that forgets the person isn't progress. It's a magic trick with missing cards. The only thing we should be controlling is our impulse to skip the hard work of safeguarding people. Number 8. Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup for babies with morphine.
This Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup will ensure your little one sleeps soundly through the night. A few drops and all will be well.
In the 19th century, sleepless infants met sleepless parents, and the market delivered. Syrups promising relief for teething, colic, fussing, household chaos translated into labels. Mrs. Winslow's rose to fame across the US and UK, sold in respectable shops with cozy branding. The active calm, however, came from morphine and friends. It worked the way turning off a fire alarm solves the fire. Reports of danger accumulated. Pediatric voices and consumer advocates pushed back, arguing that guess-the-dose opiates for infants were not a vibe. Momentum for reform grew. Early 20th century laws tightened composition disclosure and curbed the patent medicine free-for-all. The episode sits at the crossroads of desperation and misinformation. Parents needed help. Systems offered shortcuts. The fix required more than outrage. It needed pediatric science, safer options, and labels that meant something. Imagine a baby catalog with sizes, newborn, crawler, nope, do not. Today, dosing standards and childproofing exist because history graduated from vibes to verified. Also, rocking chairs remain undefeated technology. Number 9. Jake leg, and the cost of cutting corners.
Oh, the Jake leg blues got a hold on me. Can't dance like I used to, Lord.
During U.S. Prohibition, people seeking a legal buzz turned to Jamaica ginger extract, Jake, a medicinal ginger tincture that was technically drinkable and questionably wise. Regulators tested for ginger content, not beverage safety. Some bootleg manufacturers adulterated batches with a toxic plasticizer, TOCP, to maintain viscosity while dodging costs and tests. The result was paralysis in thousands, a characteristic gait that communities grimly recognized and newspapers documented. This wasn't about individual bad choices, it was a supply-side betrayal, fraud in a bottle. Investigations traced the culprit. Public health warnings spread. Reforms followed that strengthened consumer protections and analytical testing. The cultural footprint even reached folk songs mourning lives upended. Imagine failing a taste test so hard history gives the failure a nickname. The enduring lesson: when policy creates scarcity, safety nets must be stronger, not weaker, or markets fill the gaps with poisons and paper labels. If your recipe requires industrial additives to pass a flimsy exam, close the kitchen. Number 10. Freud's cocaine phase and a friendship in pain. In the 1880s, European medicine was testing cocaine for everything from local anesthesia to mood elevation. A young Sigmund Freud self-experimented and wrote enthusiastic notes. Optimism was abundant, guardrails less so. His colleague, Ernst von Fleischl-Marxow, injured and dependent on morphine after surgery, became the target of a well-meant suggestion. Perhaps cocaine could help. It did not. Fleischl-Marxow spiraled into cocaine dependence with devastating health consequences. One of history's cruel object lessons about swapping anchors. Freud later moderated his stance as harms became clear. The episode shadowed his career as a moral invoice for early boosterism. It's tempting to read this as villainy. It's closer to tragedy. A smart man misreading the moment and the molecule. The legacy is institutional. Enthusiasm must be caged by evidence, third-party scrutiny, and caution when the patient is a friend. Tell me about your childhood. It sprinted past us at 200 miles an hour, doctor. Modern medicine, bruised by stories like this, built randomized trials, ethics boards, and the habit of saying, let's test that, slowly.
As we look back at these decades, we see the need for guardrails. Remember to combine curiosity with skepticism.
From parlor frolics to marathon misfires, from nursery bottles to Black Ops fiascos, the through line isn't just people did wild stuff. It's that culture, exhaustion, hype, fear, can shove science into the driver's seat before it learns the pedals. The 1800s lacked guardrails. The 1900s installed them and still sometimes drove through. Each blunder pushed systems toward clearer labels, honest dosing, proper trials, and unsexy virtues like consent and sleep. Progress is learning to make new mistakes, not sequels. If someone promises a miracle in a bottle, ask for data, not a mustache. Hydrate with water, argue with evidence, and keep your curiosity high while your risk low. Thanks for touring the Museum of, in hindsight, wow. Drop the next historical health fad you want roasted. And remember, the smartest shortcut is skepticism. If this made you smarter, or at least more skeptical, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chaotic history roast. It's the only boost we endorse.